Welcome back to the Tuesday Weekend, the podcast who will never show up 45 minutes early for our reservation and say, I assume you can seat us. That happens to be on Friday.
Oh, what? You were just like, ooh.
There are no rules, you know. All right, sure. 45 minutes early. We're fine. Anyway, most of us who have ever worked in the restaurants, regardless of where, with some small exceptions, sure, know about Hell Week, that week between Christmas Eve until New Year's. Most people are off of work at that time, so they should be in a good mood. But then they have to spend that time with their families, so really most of them are pretty cranky. Having worked at a ski resort, it really is the most intense week of the season. But don't get me wrong, people will use President's Day as an excuse for a 3-day ski weekend too. So, Aurora, the first question is, I guess in the more than a decade you've been working at a ski resort, has Hell Week changed much over that time?
Actually, it has. Because when I first started, Hell Week ran for 23 days. Now, Hell Week only runs between 10 to 15 days, depending. Wow. Yes. But before it used to be 23 to 15 now.
23, when would it start and end?
It would start the second week of right when we opened. Basically, we would just keep going until New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Everybody's too hungover to go out and do anything.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
I have legitimately hated every restaurant I've worked at. Hey, we need to open for lunch on New Year's Day. And I'm like, why? No one's going to be out.
Mostly if it's like, because it was running so close to Christmas. So it's like, all right, we're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And since most of the time the restaurant used to be only open for 4 days in the winter, and now it's open for 5. So that way our Hell Week just shrink a little bit more.
Oh, sure. Because you get a little bit more space to put people in.
Mm-hmm. Because now you lose that like va-va-voom of it. Like, oh my God, we need to get in the exclusivity. So it's like they would push as many people as they can in. And now it's a little better.
I will say for me in banquets, the last couple of Christmas holidays, Christmas Day itself, I have not had anything scheduled. So that's been great. But those every Friday and Saturday in December, we were double booked. And some of those parties would go till 1 a.m. because it's a big company.
It's the Christmas parties. It's all the Christmas parties.
I want them to have a good time, no doubt. But I also need to sleep sometime in December. And we would often, in addition to the weekend parties, they would just kind of jam up midweek stuff. And sometimes those are breakfast events. And it just, that was tough in banquets. But I will also say, at least this year, my PTO started January 2nd, and I just took 2 straight weeks off and got out of there and really didn't miss much because, at least in banquets, there's that kind of hangover effect of, all right, all the Christmas parties are done. We're not into like wedding season at all, or anything like that. Like a lot of the company events, like they've spent their money, so they kind of need to recoup for a few months. So like January, it was at least easier.
See, now I work in a place where wedding season is year round.
It's year round.
Like I told you earlier, 2 wedding parties in this weekend. Full wedding parties, full wedding blocks, 50 rooms each. And that's every weekend. Every single weekend we have weddings. Every Tuesday we have a wedding.
Yay, Tuesday
we do.
Weddings.
There are a lot of Tuesday weddings.
But so Nick, what is San Diego's version of Hell Week? Is it Comic-Con?
San Diego's version, it would definitely be Comic-Con. Comic-Con travels in almost 250,000 people to this area.
Wow.
Now the greater San Diego area count is about 6,000 square miles. I mean, that's what they count it as, the whole county and stuff. But you can't say I'm downtown. Comic-Con is 15 blocks away from me, 20 blocks away from me. Airbnbs in Oceanside, 45 miles away, are sold out for a maximum price.
Sure.
There is no place you can find to stay here at all. Now, it's interesting. So during the day, nothing happens because everybody's at Comic-Con. All the downtown restaurants just get crushed for lunches and everything because they're right there, but no one's going to leave downtown to come back to downtown. I mean, parking's $50 a day. It's nuts. At night, however, every restaurant in town is just packed because there's all these extra people. They all have to go eat somewhere. It is super busy. just nonstop. I mean, I was working on Coronado. That's on an island 6 miles away from downtown. And yeah, Comic-Con, we were open to close busy. So and yeah, that would be our version of Hell Week out here. Like the Christmas thing, that's a vacation busy thing, but it's nothing like the ski towns. Like when I worked up in Park City, when I worked in Salt Lake, it was just nonstop. Like when I worked at the Oyster Bar down in Salt Lake, you didn't have a day off that week.
Sure.
They just wanted everybody on. They had to add extra servers for lunch. They had to add extra servers for dinner. There'd be extra cooks back on the line, which I knew had to be confusing. But for us, you guys would be like, oh yeah, that means just there's 2 people on the fry station. They'll have a blast. Summertime, you're really busy. Wintertime, wintertime, you know, and it's kind of cloudy. You're less busy, but it's still pretty steady out here. And a lot of restaurants do what you do, Josh. Like the restaurant I used to work at after summer, we had banquets almost every other night. We'd have 2-3 banquets a week. And that really buoyed the sales getting into the Christmas season.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And the Christmas parties. Yeah, those are great.
So then there are 2 pairs of holidays that I want to talk about that always bring out the cheapest people. The first is cheap, impatient people on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. And then we have cheap people who have forgotten how to act in public on St. Patrick's Day and New Year's Eve. So, Nick, since St. Patrick's Day and New Year's Eve are the 2 kind of biggest drinking holidays and absolutely amateur drinking night, what are some of your thoughts on people who go out to party on those 2 nights?
New Year's is truly the holiday I hate to work the most. Because you said people are cheap. They also, for some reason, are incredibly entitled. I think it's because they actually put on a dress or they're wearing a jacket and a tie and feel, hey, give me a bottle of your cheapest champagne. All right, that's going to be $60. $60. I mean, they'll freak out about price. And also on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, people have been drinking all day. Right. And then they don't go out till like 8 o'clock. Unlike a lot of the other holidays, like, I mean, people will go out and drink after, but they're usually, I mean, I've been in bars where guys have walked up to the bar. How you doing? Like, great. What you guys been doing? Oh, we just pound a bottle of Jaeger in the parking lot. And I'm like, I can't serve you. But I mean, people walk in and I'm just looking at the door guy going like, they can barely walk. How can you let them in? And they paid the cover. And I'm like, that's not how it is. But no, that night last year had a horrible New Year's. I mean, the hotel's slow and stuff. No big deal. We had a torrential rainstorm on New Year's Eve, and everyone is out in downtown San Diego. No one has jackets and stuff because we're in San Diego. What do we need jackets? And when I say torrential, I mean like 20, 30 mile an hour winds, sheets of rain, stuff I'm not used to seeing in the desert. And I'm out in San, I'm like, wow, this is new. And everybody wanted to come into the hotel, and we couldn't let them in because they didn't have reservations or have rooms. So they're all standing out inside of the hotel at like midnight with one security guard just going like, I can't let you in. And then finally one goes like, we're doing rooms for $150. If you want to get a room, you can come in. And some people are like, oh, well, my Uber is going to be $140 to get home. So why don't I just do that? That, and then St. Patrick's Day. I love St. Patrick's Day. I love drinking on St. Patrick's Day. That one's really not that bad. It is an amateur holiday. Yeah, we are super busy. I get it. People who've never drank Guinness are drinking Guinness. People who shouldn't be drinking whiskey are drinking whiskey. I mean, there's a lot of people who are asking a lot of questions about a lot of basic stuff. That one, though, I mean, you know you're in for it. You know it's going to be an all-day, all-night affair. You're usually wearing green. You're usually, well, in my case, a lot of us are wearing kilts and stuff behind the bar, just going all day long, nonstop. I had a buddy of mine after the end. I worked at Piper down in Salt Lake, and after St. Patrick's Day, he would sleep on the bar after the night of St. Patrick's Day night. We'd finish up and not get done till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning and have beers and stuff. And most everyone would just kind of crash on the bar, get a cab home because you were there for about 20 hours.
I've always found it's more comfortable under the pool table, but that's just a personal preference.
I understood. Yeah. It's serene.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Until your friends start playing pool.
So, well, that'll wake me up. Sure. So, Aurora, doesn't Mother's Day brunch sound lovely? Just you, your mom, your dad, of course, your sisters, your one sister's family, and a couple of cousins. So maybe like a 12 top, just leisurely enjoying the afternoon. Doesn't that sound relaxing?
Actually, yes, because I never get to work Mother's Day brunch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because you have dinner stuff.
I'm the lucky one, but yeah. I do deal with Valentine's Day.
Right. Oh,
It's
yeah.
the
So
ones that are like this. Let's look at each other and hold this table for 3 hours
and sit on the same side of the banquette. Yes.
while we look at the fireplace together.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Valentine's Day, absolutely. It's all couples. And my recommendation for anybody listening who wants to go out on a Valentine's Day, find another couple to go out with. I could seat a table of 4 or 6. I've got plenty of those. All
The
of my
twos.
tables are taken. So, especially if you're trying kind of last minute-ish to make a reservation, find some more people. Come to me as a 4-top, and I will find a table for you. Yes.
Now,
As you're going to be waiting.
For being front of house forever, I loathe Mother's Day, I loathe Father's Day, and I loathe Valentine's Day. I cannot stand them. There's 2 versions. One I worked at, we did seatings. We did a full-on special menu, but it was a 5 o'clock seating and an 8 o'clock seating.
Yes.
So you got 2 turns. I mean, everyone pulled whatever, but everyone showed up for that because you had to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that same restaurant, when they didn't do that, and a few I've worked at, well, it's going to be a $25 charge. And a lot of places out here, not a lot, some places out here do that all the time. But every one of those holidays I've worked, we're completely booked. We've had to turn off reservations. We're full. We can't do anything. And you get about a third of that. And since they're amateur holidays, like the Valentine's Day, people will sit down and just will not leave. They don't know how to order. They don't know how to tip. I mean,
They're just camping.
Dude, Valentine's Day for front of the house is like St. Patrick's Day for bartenders.
Absolutely.
I've talked to chefs who literally make just a bare bones menu because it's easier for the guests to comprehend what is on it.
Sure. It's not even the kitchen's pickups on that.
No.
It's simplifying it for the guests. Yeah, I get that.
And I mean, a lot of servers, myself included, I apologize. Like, we can't do that. I mean, we're just trying to get rid of every single little create your own dish couple out there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take the pine nuts from this, and then we want the cheese from. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not a buffet. Make your own.
Yeah.
Beatable, whatever.
So
but those holidays, and the money's never good. The money's never good on those days, ever. It's horrible.
I mean, I would say when I go out on holidays, I try to overtip, but I do not go out on those holidays.
I told my family not. My brother and his wife, I mean, they never go out since I started doing this. After like 3 years, he's never gone out on Valentine's Day again. And he's like, it's fantastic. I go out the night before. The service is great. The food is better.
Yeah,
no one's harried. No one's in a hurry. You can sense a nice calm in the restaurant.
Right.
Where you go on Valentine's Day, people with reservations are mad that they're not being seated, even though their reservation is 15 minutes away.
Sure. So, Aurora, for something like a Valentine's Day where it's going to be a lot of couples, do you sometimes make specials specifically for 2? Or, kind of what do you like to do for a day like Valentine's Day, just from the food end?
So for Valentine's Day, we just run a special menu, just like he was saying. But for at least the good thing for me, it is a buffet. So it's like they can eat as much as they want or eat as less as they want. They still get to pay a select fee.
Yep.
And they can do as much as they like. Feed each other chocolate, cover strawberries, dip it. You do the works for yourselves. But at least you do it to each other. All the good thing is our servers just have to go and give them their drinks and drop their check.
That's easy.
Yeah. That's pretty nice. I mean, and I will take the strawberries and dip them in the raclette, and but then I'll eat that. Dee doesn't want it. It's fine.
Now, to take the amateurishness of those holidays and kind of be the devil's advocate, I always am. These are also training days for people on how to dine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who don't go out and they can kind of see firsthand. And I've never had a problem walking someone through the menu. No, it's this and this and this. No, this. Well, if you want this, or how to order a drink. Even though we're crushed, you still want those people to have a good time.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's not usually till near the end of the night that all the hatred and that is built up that you just really like.
Because you did it for 4 other tables?
Yeah. 4 other tables for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, a lot of those people, they don't go out. And I've had people go out and then come back later like, yeah, we liked your food. So we came back to try it again. And they're more adventurous and trying stuff. It does serve a purpose and it does get people out. I mean, they're all manufactured holidays. We all know that. I mean, thank you, greeting cards companies, I guess, for giving restaurants an extra several $1,000s 3 nights a year.
Sure.
Appreciate it. And unwittingly teaching people what brunch is. Because you never really heard of brunch before you heard of Mother's Day brunch.
Sure. I mean,
That's true.
I'm still a big fan of an Eggs Benedict and a bottomless mimosa. I will admit, but
I just got hungover hearing bottomless mimosa.
yeah. Well, all right. One last thing that I want to talk about, and that is Christmas music. And I personally, I hate it. And now, sure, one factor into the reason I dislike it so much is my birthday happens to be Christmas Eve. And so it's just not possible for me to have a birthday that's about me, which, all right, fine. That is what it is. But maybe it's the fact that hearing at work dozens of times a day during the most stressful time imaginable, it's the most wonderful time of the year. That is not my lived experience. I would use maybe a different word than fucking wonderful, but so like when I hear that, it really to me is the same reaction as if someone were to tell me that I'd be prettier if I smiled more. Like, get that kind of bullshit out of here.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, try being a bartender during that. You should smile.
Right. You should smile.
You want this drink or not?
Right.
How you doing? Now I look psychotic because
So
that's how I feel. I'm trying to hide that.
Exactly. So I need to accommodate every harebrained just thought that comes into your head because you're the customer, and I have to do it with a smile on my face. I do not think so. But sorry, rant over. Just bah humbug to Christmas music. That's what I say. And
Dude, it's worse because the kitchen doesn't usually have to hear it that much.
Yes, we do.
yeah.
It's loud enough usually where you can hear it.
And it's worse when you work at a place that decides, and this is back in the CD days, where like, we'll just burn a CD of Christmas music. Well, a CD holds about an hour or so of Christmas music. And they didn't burn 5 of them. They would just burn 1.
Yeah.
So you had the same roughly 10 songs, 12 songs for 7-8 hours.
Maybe if we started playing Christmas music on, let's say, December 21st, you get a few days to hear it. You don't get sick of it. We do not need to start hearing it the day after Thanksgiving
all the way through New Year's Day.
If you're anywhere before that, you need to re-examine your life priorities, please, and think about what you're doing to the rest of us. But anyway, all right, and on that happy note, I'm going to take another break here, and we will get right back to, weekends off. All right, we'll be right back.